Greetings, all you manics and minds on crimes, and welcome back to another Warframe Weapon Showcase Revisited series. We are taking a look at the this primary Vermisplicer. I don't think I did a video on this after the arcanes and everything came out. I don't really think I did. I might have recorded it, and it's some Mandela effect that I uploaded it. Either way, the primary Vermisplicer is pretty damn incredible, and I have the almighty Augur of Ebrietas here. So this is how it's built, and we're going to be going into Steel Path. The reason I have primary Merciless here is because this weapon has a really hard time headshotting. It's just how it works. The projectile, the beam, the sort of like tentacles, wrap around the enemy. So getting headshots with it is like not too easy. Anyway, we are going to go into Steel Path and show the absolute devastation that this thing is capable of. It's pretty crazy. So, all right. So this is Steel Path, by the way. I haven't played this game too seriously. I mean, yeah, I've been mostly playing Fallout 4, enjoying the DLCs. Yeah, I finally got the Fallout 4 DLCs. Love them. They're all great in their own ways. But yeah, this weapon, it's pretty powerful. I mean, obviously it is. It's a beam weapon with high status and ridiculous crit stats. So, I mean, this thing has a 97% chance to crit and a 5.1 crit multi. Even without being able to headshot, the damage this thing is doing, also these little growths, these little spires are just residual shock because, why not? They sometimes proc electricity on enemies, but not really all that often. But yeah, you see how fast this thing is just chewing through these enemies. It's actually kind of nuts. And yeah, you're not going to be headshotting with this thing consistently. It's possible. It's just very inconsistent. So yeah, pretty simple with this weapon. You just hold the trigger down and point it at the enemies, and it does its thing. This thing also latches onto quite a few enemies at once. It's not like an enormous amount. I think it's like 4 or 5 enemies at once. And the damage is obviously split between enemies. That's just how chaining weapons work at this game. But even with that being said, this thing is shoveling out so much damage so quickly that a lot of enemies in the game just get, melted. And the way I have this thing set up also gives it a decent amount of range too. Now, I really hope that DE will give a small update to be able to see the length, the range of beam weapons. Say, oh, this beam weapon fires like 10 meters or something like that, instead of us having to guess. Because, what the fuck? Like, that should have been a thing from like day one, but whatever. Especially with kick gun beam weapons. Like, seriously? You'd think they would have added that in when kick guns became a thing. But yeah, this thing is also going to do a number on the Acolyte. But keep in mind, the Acolytes are tough, and they cannot be affected by viral, and they can only be affected by 4 procs of any given status, including slash, heat, toxin, other things like that don't have a limit. I think I just said all the ones that have a limit. But yeah. So this weapon does actually have one slight problem. It doesn't do very well against things like Demolisks for whatever reason. But, you know, that's fine. That's what my melee weapon is for. So yeah, it's draining the Acolyte's health pretty quick. Especially when, yeah, there goes the shields. And now you are not really protected, good sir. And you are getting absolutely melted. It still takes a little bit, but the Acolyte will just eventually fell because couldn't really do much. Especially because I'm playing Nezha. I was in literally no risk of getting killed. So yeah, it's fairly straightforward with this weapon. It's not complicated. It's a very simple weapon, but it's very effective. Simplicity is nice.
Our operative is making progress.
All right, that's basically all I had to show.
When you need it, extraction is ready.
And don't worry about the arcane going away super fast. I mean, this thing shovels out so much damage even without the arcane that you're going to get the arcane procced super quick. You don't have to use Arcane Merciless, but considering this thing is so difficult to headshot with, you have to be a very specific range from the enemy to even attempt to headshot with this weapon. That primary deadhead is just like kind of annoying. Just try to get the proc. That's a little unfortunate, but whatever. Any treats? No. I was hoping for a star.
Very good.
So yeah, primary Vermisplicer revisited with it being maxed, the new everything, the absolute powerhouse. It is a powerhouse. It's a very powerful weapon, and I'll show you the configuration of the Almighty Augur. So this is how I have it set up. So chamber is obviously Vermisplicer. Grip is the Polymerous, and the loader is Splat. Maybe doing more of a hybrid setup where you have sort of even distribution between status and crit would also, yeah, that would work. That would be, you know, well, everything works in this game. Let's be real here, but that would also be very, very nice. So I do have another setup of this where it's viral, and I have hammer shot on here instead of heat. Well, I do have heat. I changed something. Oh yeah, I don't have prime shred. I forget why I have prime shred. It don't really matter. But Serration doesn't give as big of a damage boost as it used to, especially when you consider Galvanized Chamber, Galvanized Aptitude, then the Arcanes mixing in. This just sort of gets thrown off because while Serration is still powerful as hell, same thing with heavy caliber, it's not 100% needed anymore, which is a good thing. It opens up more slots, more variety, and variety is the spice of life. I only wish that melee was more varied and not literally, you know, a reskin of every single melee weapon, because that's all melee weapons are. They're just different looking weapons. They all do the exact same thing. There's pretty much nothing unique about melee in this game. So either way, that's the almighty Augur of Ebrietas, maxed, except for I don't have a ribbon. But if you're going to go for a ribbon on this thing, whatever you want. I still think ribbons are like trash. They shouldn't be in the game in the first place. Why can't we use Kuva and juice up these stats a bit? That'd be way better, because it would give Kuva a reason to exist. So yeah. Fantastic. Do I use it all the time? Meh, not really. Because I've been addicted to using, say, like the Corinth Prime and more satisfying weapons to use, but The Augur of Epiretus, or the primary Vermisplicer, is absolutely fantastic and worth your while. It's worth investing into, so I'd recommend go get it. 3 Forma, and you can copy this build. Remember, you can in fact put an additional polarity when you polarize it, so that's why there's only 3 Forma, not 4. So, with all that being said, primary Vermisplicer, awesome. It is an absolute, like, just room clearer. This weapon against Infested is a joy to use because you'll be clearing out Infested so fucking fast. This weapon is really, really, really good at clearing out large hordes of enemies pretty quickly, especially even at high levels. So, all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. And remember, in Trilby, we trust.